All right, so welcome back to Learn SKN, and today we are going to be looking at some CSEC POB. To be specific, we're going to be looking at section 2, internal organizational environment. We're actually going to continue looking at section 2. We did a video on section 2 sometime up in the year, but we're going to continue looking at section 2 today, and we are going to be targeting objectives 5 and 6. Objective 5 and 6 for now. All right, so let's just jump right into objective 5 and 6. Objective 5, outline the essential characteristics of a good leader. And objective 6, discuss the different leadership styles. So objective 5, characteristics of a good leader, includes honesty, flexibility, focus, trustworthiness, and ability to make intelligent decisions. All of these are pretty much self-explanatory. And then we have the different leadership styles. We're going to look at some advantages and disadvantages of the main three. So we have autocratic, democratic, and laissez-faire. So let's just jump right into it. Leadership styles. Now there are a number of leadership styles out there, but for now we're going to look at four main ones for now: the authoritarian or autocratic, the democratic or participative, laissez-faire, and the transformational. There's also the charismatic and the bureaucratic. So we're going to try and look at the first four and look at some pros and cons of those types. So the first one we're going to look at is the autocratic or the authoritarian leader or leadership style. Now, who or what is an autocratic leader? Autocratic leadership is centered around and focused on the leader. With this style of leadership, all of the decision making resides with the leader, and the decisions are made by the leader without consulting subordinates. So the key takeaways there are that the decisions are made by the leader and the leader only, and they don't consult anybody they considered under them. They don't consult anybody at all. So a good example of this would be, of course, you have some communist nations in the world like North Korea, and you have China and Cuba, where the leader is the one who makes all the decisions. So someone like Kim Jong-un, he is the one who makes all the decisions for North Korea, and so he is one of the best examples of an autocratic leader that we have on the world stage today. So just thinking about that, you know the examples right there. You have Cuba, and Cuba, the president of Cuba is the one who makes all the decisions in that island also. So the autocratic leadership style means that only the leader makes all the decisions and they do not consult the subordinates. So I know you might wonder, well, how could that be an advantage? What advantage could that system have? Rest assured, there are some advantages to the authoritarian leadership style. For example, making fast decisions. Now, when time comes to make a decision like in a crisis or an emergency, you don't have time to debate. So you need somebody who would make a decisive decision one time to get on with things. So this is where this leadership style comes into play. This is one advantage of the authoritarian leadership style, where decisions can be made one time, boop, boop, done. This leadership style is essential for quick actions. Also, improved performance in certain situations, such as managers knowing that, okay, the boss is watching me, so I'm going to put on a show, put my best foot forward, because I know the boss is always watching me. So that could be an advantage in a sense if you can work under those kind of conditions. If you can work under those kind of micromanagement conditions, then that could be an advantage for certain people, because some people just work better when they know somebody's watching them. And of course, there's also an advantage of less stress for the subordinates. If you are the subordinates, you get no stress because most of the decisions are made by the big boss. So all the heavy thinking, all that, decisions to be made, those big decisions, you ain't got to worry about that, because all that is supposed to be handled by the big boss man. All right, so the big boss, the authoritarian boss, is the one who handles all the decisions and the responsibilities of those decisions. So you as a subordinate don't really have much stress as it relates to responsibility and decision making process. But of course, there are more disadvantages than advantages to this leadership style. For example, You can frustrate your subordinates. Communication is one way, which can be frustrating for people. You don't want people just talking down to you, ordering your own. Sometimes you want to have a say in certain decisions. So this can be a disadvantage because you can frustrate people who are working for you because all you're doing is passing out orders, backing down orders. So that can be frustrating. Also, fear and resentment can develop towards the boss. And they often criticize. All right, you go behind your boss back, talk bad about the boss. You resent the boss. You really want much to do with the boss, but you just have to work for him because you want a paycheck. So fear and resentment are common as people don't like being bossed around and criticize more than praise. So that's a problem again. So you're not gonna like the boss, and also one of the reasons you might not like the boss is because the boss always criticize. No praise, just talking down to you. You can paralyze an organization if only one person is responsible for certain decisions. Because if the leader is not there, if the leader is sick, if something happens, you paralyze the company for whatever time that the leader is out because only one person is responsible for decision-making process. So therefore, you're going to be in a state of stay. You're not going to be able to make any decisions while the boss is not available. Other disadvantages: new opportunities are missed unless the leader keeps pace with new trends. As time goes on, new opportunities could be missed. Additionally, the lack of flexibility in autocratic leadership doesn't lend itself to planning for long-term initiatives. Because what they're saying here is that the leader might just have a certain vision, a certain scope, but he or she cannot see outside of their vision, outside of their scope. There's no one else to inform their decision-making process. So all they see is what they want to see. So in the meantime, where they have tunnel vision, other opportunities can be missed outside of the tunnel that the leader is looking down. Our next disadvantage is communication breaks down. Because directives flow downwards from the leader to the subordinates, misunderstandings and confusion can arise because of lack of feedback that is allowed from subordinates. So miscommunication, the leader is only talking down. So that they don't know if the message was received clearly, they don't know what's going on. Good communication is key. Good communication only occurs when both parties are on the same plane. So breakdown in communication can be frequent if there's just one direction in which information is flowing. So next one is the democratic leadership style. What is the democratic leadership style? Also called the participative leadership style. It is focused on the leader's team and is characterized by decision making being shared across the team. So it is shared across the team. So the fact is that the leader might get the ultimate decision, might get the ultimate say, but he or she takes into consideration the views and opinions of his subordinates and those working alongside him or her. So again, the key there is that the decision is made across the board. People share the decision-making process. There's a team. So a key takeaway to understand from the democratic leadership style is that the decision-making process involves a team, the leader and his or her subordinates, but ultimately the leader is the one who makes the decision with the input of the team. So the team might have their views, their opinions, but the leader is the one who makes the ultimate decision. Now, advantages of this leadership style: decreased risk of catastrophic failure, meaning that because there are so many eyes, so many brains, so many people chipping into a decision-making process, then that reduce the chance of having a catastrophic failure, of having a major breakdown, because there's so many people who are in the group that might be able to say, okay, look, this might be wrong. Maybe we should take this angle. Maybe this angle is not the best. So you have views, you have opinions from different people that can help to inform the final decision. So this can reduce the risk of catastrophic failure. All right, so you reduce the risk of a decision being catastrophic, being a failure, being a huge failure. Next advantage: good working environment. Subordinates at all levels can feel engaged and empowered and take on responsibility to challenge themselves because they are involved in the decision-making process. And it is the sense of engagement and empowerment that can lead to the creation of good working environment and increased job satisfaction. So this type of leadership style empowers, encourage the workers, the subordinates to go out and do what they have to do, their own thing, try to think on their own, show initiative, and those kind of things. This is the one, this decision making process. The democratic style is what enables free flowing of ideas within the working environment. So it enables people to empower themselves within the work environment, and of course that's a good thing because there might be more innovation in the job environment, more innovation, more creativity once people are allowed to think on their own. Our next advantage is, of course, high performance teams. Subordinates are encouraged to solve problems under their own initiative, as I said before, which in turn can create higher performing teams. The higher performance in a team in turn leads to greater productivity. So democratic leadership style can lead to greater productivity because people don't feel as oppressed, as restricted as in the authoritarian leadership style. So they are able to freely think outside the box, bounce ideas off each other, off the team, to come up with a final, more substantive idea or decision can be reached in the process. Of course, they have downsides to this method of leadership, such as slow decision making. Unlike the authoritarian where one person makes the decision, which can be fast, in the democratic leadership style, you have a slower decision-making process because the idea has to go through so many different people, different teams. They have to bounce it off each other, brainstorm, that kind of thing. And so the decision-making process is slower than other forms of leadership styles. So slow decision-making by involving subordinates in decisions making, you can dramatically slow down decision making. This can be a real problem in institutions where organizations need to turn around urgently or where maintaining first mover advantage is necessary. So here what they're saying that. They're saying that if you have to go to your board members, your team, every time to make a decision, you can actually slow down this process and cause rivals or competitors to outpace you. Because in some environments, some business places, you have such innovation every time. You have to be flexible, you have to move fast, you have to move with the times, with the trends. So if you have to go through a decision-making process every time, by the time you finish, gone through your whole team, a new trend would have started. So sometimes it is not the best to slow down the process through the democratic leadership style. Then you have what you call collaboration burden. Leaders can become overwhelmingly burdened with the overhead of ensuring experts meet and collaborate, that they take their focus off key metrics and on the urgent need to move towards the strategic vision. So all that word salad is saying is that you as the leader, you have to bring so many minds together. You have to bring all these people together to collaborate on a decision or on an idea. And this can be a burden because you have to make sure everything line up, everybody's in sync, that kind of thing. So that can be tough for one person to shoulder, especially if you're dealing with large teams. So that could be a disadvantage. Another one is over-dependence on the team. A danger of democratic leadership style is that the leader can become overly dependent on the group or hidden within the group, allowing the group to make the decisions. This can result in the decisions being made which drift the organization towards its strategic goal rather than rapidly and purposely moving towards its goal. So what they're saying here is that sometimes, because it's a group making decision, the leader can get lost in the shuffle, lost in the fray, and then the group might overpower the ability of the leader to make decisions. Or the leader himself might become too dependent on the group to make the decisions for him. So that can be a disadvantage. You can be somewhat of a weak leader in that way, where you overly depend on the group or the team to make all the decisions for you, or vice versa, where you can get lost in the overpowered by the group and they make the decisions for you. Transformational leadership. A transformational leader is one who models the behavior they expect to see, sets clear goals, and has high expectations, whilst at the same time supporting and emotionally guiding subordinates to achieve. At the very foundation of transformational leadership is the consistent promotion of a compelling vision, along with a set of values to live and work by. Transformational leaders create a culture of no blame where the focus is on the problem at hand and how to solve it, and not who is responsible for creating the problem. Some examples of this leader they have is Barack Obama. He's a good example of that. So what I'm saying is that the transformational leadership, he or she rise above the average person. They are the ones who model certain behaviors that you expect to see in a leader. They support you both emotionally and on the business, on the job end. So it's not just about task oriented, not about the job only. They see you for a person, they support you emotionally. They set clear goals and has high expectation of their workers. So they think highly of their workers, so that empowers the workers in turn. So this is somebody who is, as it says, transformational. He's above, or he or she's above the average person. So you people look up to this person, and so they have a high expectation to live up to. So some advantages of this style: balanced goals. Transformational leaders balance the needs for short-term and long-term goals. Trust. Subordinates feel supported and deeply trust their leader because they behave with integrity and build strong coalitions. Vision-focused communication. Transformational leaders are very focused on long-term strategic vision and communicating the vision regularly with passion and clarity. They keep everyone on side, bought in, and motivated to reach the goal. So this is someone who you just want to follow because of their personality, almost like a charismatic leader. You want to follow because their personality just exude a certain confidence and trust in that person. So you go and do what the person wants to do because they're supporting you, they're empowering you. It's almost like I said, a charismatic leader. Disadvantage: can be ineffective in the beginning, because that's before people see your vision, but after they see your vision, then they come on board. Transformational leadership is built on trust. Thus, transformational leaders can be ineffective at the start of their leadership journey as they have yet to obtain the trust of their team or build strong collaborations. So that's you can understand that you cannot readily trust somebody out of the blocks. So you have to build up trust. So that's why at first it might be ineffective, but later, as people see your goals, see your vision, start trusting you, you become more effective. Then you have the laissez-faire leadership style. The laissez-faire leadership style. What is the laissez-faire leadership style? Laissez-faire is where the leader doesn't actually lead the team, but instead allows the team to entirely self-direct. This style of leadership is also known as hands-off style of leadership, and in contrast to other leadership styles, we've looked at the authority is given to the subordinates, including goal setting, problem solving, decision making. So for this style, hands-off leadership, free reign, just do what you want, as long as when the deadlines are due, you produce. That's the key to leadership. This leadership style, the laissez-faire leadership style. The boss gonna be hands off, let the team do what they have to do, as long as they produce, as long as results are there. The leader, the boss has no issues. Just let you go, do what you want, but when deadlines come around, make sure that you meet the deadlines. So that's what the laissez-faire leadership style is all about. Free reign, hands off, but you got to do your work still. I trust you to do your work. So when time comes for deadlines, you're able to meet all the deadlines. Of course, you're going to have some disadvantages and advantages. Advantages: create personal responsibility, meaning laissez-faire leadership style challenge subordinates to take personal responsibility for their work and outcome of their work. So they didn't have nobody to blame. I gave you all the rope, do what you have to do. If it fails, that's on you. If it succeeds, that's you too. It's all on you, personal responsibility, because I gave you the free reign to do what you want. I was hands off, so you cannot blame the boss. Supports fast course corrections. Motivated people working autonomously are typically able to overcome roadblocks and adjust course far more quickly than when they need to seek approval. So you don't have to go to the boss every time, every minute to get something done. You can do it quickly because it's up to you. You're given free reign. laissez-faire, hands off to do what you want. So of course, if you see something going wrong, you can easily course correct without having to go and ask the boss for permission. Supports higher retention. When successful, it can result in higher retention as motivated professionals and experts thrive in their work environment, which supports autonomous decision making. So what they're saying is that more people will be willing to work for you if the environment supports autonomous decision making. Nobody wants to be micromanaged. Nobody really wants to be micromanaged. You don't want any bosses breathing on your neck all the time. So laissez-faire or free rein can be an advantage for people who works best in an autonomous meaning. Autonomous meaning you have the ability to do what you want. Nobody bossing you around, nobody telling you what to do. You have autonomy, meaning you have the right to do what you want. Disadvantages: lack of accountability. There's nobody accountable to take credit in case of success or to take blame in case of failure. Next one, higher stress levels. Subordinates can suffer from high levels of stress if they feel unsupported by the leader or unsure of their capabilities. So if you're not sure about what you can do and they just put you in a situation where you have to work on your own, you might get a lot of stress because you don't really know what you're capable of. Missed deadlines. See, organizing teams without oversight or direction can prone to miss deadlines, and we don't want that. That's what the laissez-faire don't want, you to miss deadlines. Alright, so those are the key leadership styles. There are others, such as the charismatic or the bureaucratic. And the charismatic, as I said, is very close to the transformational leadership. Now, bureaucratic leadership style is that style of leadership where you do everything by the books. You're just all about rules. You're stickler for rules. So that kind of leadership style tend to be a little, not too friendly for persons who don't like too much rules. There's no shortcuts, nothing. Just by the book. It's gonna be mundane, boring, and just not a pleasant environment to work in. You ever hear about bureaucracy, red tape? You have to go through a million things to get a decision made. So you don't really want that. So those are the major leadership styles and advantages and disadvantages of said leadership styles. So let's look at some qualities of a good leader. Good leader. A good leader should, of course, be strategic thinking and planning. Have creativity and imagination, be decisive, hard work and perseverance. You have to be good with people. You have to have good communication skill. You have to be willing to learn, willing to listen. You have to have integrity, and you have to be fair. So these are pretty much self-explanatory. There's a list of words that describes a good leader. So we're gonna leave it for now. Leadership. So this is a kind of short video. So stay tuned. Like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. The next video we're going to do for CSEC POB would be the work relations, industrial action and those things. We're going to stay tuned for that video. All right, so that's it for now from Learn SKN. Stay tuned for more.